So, welcome back today, and today is another video. Just zoom in. About what's this video? This is how it works. So today we're going to be learning how a battery works. There's about lots of different types of batteries, and there's lots of different liquids inside the batteries. First, let's talk about what a battery is. A battery, I'm going to do a 9-volt one. Imagine you have a multimeter. Your multimeter inside will have a 9-volt battery. My multimeter inside has a 9-volt battery. And of course it's running out because left it overnight turned on. So the battery gives voltage. Let's make a little, and there's a positive and a negative of a chip, and it needs voltage. Then you connect the negative of the battery to the negative of the chip, positive of the battery. What does a battery do? Well, you can turn on an LED with a battery. You can do anything with a battery. You can even... A battery will make voltage. It's that simple, a battery. What it does is it pumps out voltage. But is it that it pumps voltage? Well, it's not. It's not that exactly. So it doesn't pump out voltage because voltage isn't a thing. Voltage is a mix of two things. But what is that? Well, voltage is electrons plus amperage or current. Amperage equals voltage. So I'm going to talk a bit about every battery. What are the types of batteries? Let's show you. So, the types of batteries I know are... Let's start from the smallest to the biggest. There's an AA battery. That's the smallest battery. And then the next one is the AAA, which you might have at home. And then most known battery, which I have loads of them, is AA battery. There isn't an A. So the AA, so then they start to become a bit bigger. Then there is a bigger one, which is the C type battery, which is big. And when a battery is big, it doesn't mean it has more electrons. We're talking a bit what has electrons and what has amperage or current. And battery is big, so it has more of something. We'll be talking what's inside of the battery. Then the biggest one, then the other one is a D cell battery, which is even more big than the C. And then there's, of course, the 9-volt battery. There, 9 volt. And all of these are the positive and negative. Positive, negative. Positive, negative. This can be any way because, I don't know. Battery has different different polarities. And what has electrons and what has amperage? Amperage is what a battery has. So even bigger the battery has, even more amperage it is. But is there electrons in a battery? No. The answer is no. And so where's the electrons? Well, they're in a wire. You hear me? Could you believe that electrons are in a wire? What? How do electrons and current mix and form voltage? When the battery pushes out its current, the electrons start moving. They're inside the wire, free to move around the atoms and that kind of stuff. And then when the battery comes in, they get stuck and they get pushed out. Boom, 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 to the other parts of the circuit. And these batteries, I'm going to talk about them a bit. All of these, if you have a recharger for them, it doesn't matter if they get to 0 volts, and then because you can charge them. But there's another type of battery. Let's explain the liquids. All of these can be alkaline or another liquid. These are alkaline. And what's a lithium battery? Well, it's a battery that you have to have caution. Because if you try to charge a battery that has a lithium battery that has gone to 0 volts, what can happen is, it's really rare. I don't know if this even can happen, but some devices have lithium batteries, and when the motherboard of the device detects that the battery has been too much discharged, it doesn't try to charge the battery because it's not safe to charge a battery that is with 0 volts. But what's the minimum voltage that it can charge it? So when it's at 3 volts, it can still charge it, but when you buy batteries, it actually can tell you where you buy the batteries. It says, imagine, do not discharge under 2.5 volts. And if it discharges under 2.5 volts and it's in a device, the device won't try to charge it anymore. So it's like a protection circuit, because all lithium batteries need a protection circuit, because it's not the motherboard. So if there was nearly all devices that don't use alkaline batteries use lithium batteries, and they need a protection circuit. And if it was IC on the motherboard, imagine the IC was a little big, and then they didn't have space for any more thing on the motherboard, then they needed to build it in to another place, and they always build it inside of the battery, the protection circuit that detects if it's safe to charge or not. But what kinds of liquids is inside batteries? There is alkaline and lithium. Those are the ones I know. So the amperage goes inside the wire, and the wire has electrons inside, and it pushes the electrons quickly to the other places, and then they go quick zapping through the components. And hope that was a bit helpful. Tell me down in the comments if you have any questions about this. And have I something? Have I missed something? Have I? Or haven't? Or have I aren't? Yeah, a battery has current inside. Current is a thing, and voltage isn't a thing, but electrons is a thing too. I'm going to say this is current, and then these wires have electrons inside. Then when the current zaps through, like when you turn on the switch, it makes the electrons go inside whatever device you're trying to power. And you know that's a bit more complicated. That there's atoms inside the wire too. And the electrons surround around the atoms. If there's, but an atom has 2 on each side, 2 and 4, that is 8. So it's like there's a circle, and then there's electrons that are smaller than an atom. And I'm going to tell you something more. The only way of viewing electrons is using a giant microscope. You know, they are absolutely, totally, they cost lots of money, and only some companies can have them. And you know what's the size of that? Well, it is the size of, are you ready? Nearly 2 entire rooms. That is very big. Yeah. Because atoms are smaller than germs, actually. Atoms and electrons. Electrons are smaller than atoms. And that is it for this video. If you liked it, put a like. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Bye for now.